Yay!
Yay!
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So glad
Mwah,
to have
mwah.
each and every one of you here. What a blessing.
Yes. What a miracle. How is this happening? All of these faces on a screen. Magical.
I just wrote something down to read,
Yay!
Yay.
get it started, I guess. Magic isn't fun when you know how it works. Let's not fool ourselves. No one knows what this is. And even a fooling or a belief in understanding innocently arises. We know nothing about it, what it is, where it comes from, how or why. And somehow, through grace, we can recognize our utter ignorance and see through the naming of things. We never expected the crumbling of knowing would be so miraculous and awe-inspiring. To look upon what seems to be with fresh eyes and see its inherent, unfathomable nature. To be unburdened of the heavy weight of needing to know. The mystery is what is longed for because it makes the magic palpable. This may not be what the mind believes it prefers, but it's inconceivably so much more wonderful than what can be imagined. The mystery, infinite inherent intelligence, and the wild freedom to be.
Yay. Damn.
Wow. Beautiful.
I love that. It was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Amor.
So beautiful.
In a way, this meeting is a celebration of innocence, because really that's all there is innocence.
And in loveness with what's appearing to happen, with this aliveness that is, that's too self evident, that's too obvious, that it can easily be overlooked playfully. And no one's doing it. No one's even in the dream.
I was thinking about seeking this morning and how it's like a dog innocently chasing its own tail.
That's brilliant.
Mm.
I heard Adi Ashanti say that one time.
Yeah, what's being looked for is the one looking. So you can never find it because you are it.
Exactly. So like the dog is chasing itself, literally. It just doesn't know it.
Adi Ashanti said the dog, when it finally caught its tail, it had like a really stupid look on its face.
That's cute.
Like the cosmic joke for a second.
Hmm.
And he said then it would just do it again, you know.
Sounds about right. Yeah, for some of us, the running in circles and chasing one's own tail can go on seemingly for quite some time until suddenly there can just be for no reason, a cessation, a loss of interest in chasing one's own tail.
Yeah, even here when the obviousness, it was too obvious that I don't exist as an individual. It was just too obvious. But there was still this playful, give me something to worry about, give me something to resist. Let me have a problem. Quick, let me have a problem. And it was so cute because it was like too late. It was already game over. It's like, oh my God, that's how I was playing hide and seek. Playfully, like this feeling, this palpable, self evident feeling of aliveness that's beyond mind, beyond thought, that's just complete silence, um, from which the beautiful thoughts and everything's appearing to arise. And, you know, you can see how easy it is, to identify with the object of attention that you're illuminating or appearing as, to play with yourself. It's like, it's so innocent and easy to do. and play hide and seek, and and want to be in the dream, want to experience what it's like to have a unique experience, and nothing's wrong or right with any of it.
That was beautiful, Ginny. I remember when I had an insight, I was like, it was all effortless, all of it.
Yeah, all
The
perfect.
yeah, but.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because if you just take a moment, you just ask, what is it that I actually do have full control over?
Yeah, it's like a wildfire, like the dream at night, or watching a movie that you've never seen. Well, you're watching the movie, you're completely uninvolved with the movie. And if you're aware of the movie, you're prior to the movie. You're not being affected by the movie. You're the screen from which the movie's appearing, illuminating it. You have nothing to do with it. You're not even in the movie.
You're not taking it seriously. You're just playing in the game, or you're just playing in the world now. I can be a part of this world, but not of it. Just
Mm-hmm.
with curiosity and have fun, and just before
Mm-hmm.
whatever the body does, it's done. Whether it's going to a party, going to the grocery store, going to a meeting up with friends, and then it's done. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the liberation to it too. There's just a freedom, no more hanging on to what happened an hour ago or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the death of should and shouldn't and wrong or right.
Mhm.
If there is no doer, who cares? Which is a beautiful inquiry cue too. The who cares? Who cares? Who am I? When you really dissect this, what is there but perceiving? It's just pure awareness. I wrote something. Let me see. This morning.
Yay.
Mhm.
What is the idea of freedom without a thought? Even that inquiry takes you to the silent screen of awareness that you are, from which the thought of freedom arises. That which is always eternally free. The feeling of conscious presence without thought is freedom, beyond the concept of freedom.
Beautiful.
Definitely.
Great.
Yes.
Fire. Yeah, that really brings up a good question, Jenny. What is here now that's not a concept?
That's the cool thing is like with that focusing on the feeling I am, which everyone knows that they are, that's already self-evident. And focusing on that aliveness without thought, it becomes obvious that this is that. This is the unmanifest. It's no different. This is deep sleep.
Samsara is nirvana.
Yeah, it's sort of the loss of any kind of line or delineation between samsara and what can't be spoken.
Yeah, there's no separation. That's non-duality. This is the absolute. And it's so beautiful in the love story. Like with the stuff, the fires. Michael and I were talking about how these upheavals just scream that this is impermanent, temporary. These fleeting images on the screen that are being dreamed are just unreliable. And so it forces you to search for that which is permanent. And it's all so beautiful.
Jan, remember the guy on the news? They interviewed a man on the news who just watched his house burn down. Everything's in flames all around him. And he just says like he just couldn't even wrap his mind around what he was saying. He said it's like a horror movie. And ding, ding, ding.
It's a movie, a movie. Yeah.
Nice, nice beard, Amor.
Oh, cute. Oh.
Hi, Michael, Markham, Barbara, Rojaro. I don't know if I said the name right. Jade. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is an open meeting. Everybody's welcome to participate. Nothing, I repeat, nothing is off limits. That's a freedom. I mean, that's one of the joys about sharing, like for me with Leela or Jenny, is like there are no boundaries to what we could talk about. That in itself is freeing to be able to talk about anything without fear of judgment or ridicule.
It's already validated when it appears. Nothing can be right or wrong, so it's sort of like just an expression, like art.
And so, in a way, this can be called living art right now. The bodies, the buildings, the colors, plants, the trees, and yes, even the fire. Living art.
Yeah, and like a dream at night, it's just wildly, spontaneously unfolding. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what you're going to think in 2 minutes or.
Dude, tell me about it. I'm sitting here yesterday thinking things have calmed down, and I get a alert from my county saying prepare to evacuate. Your phone makes a horrible screeching sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I jump about a foot in the air and telling me prepare to evacuate. I'm like,
Mm.
what? And I hear my neighbor's door pop open. I never met him, just moved in. Dude moved here all the way from Indiana. Went out. I said, hi, Michael. He said, I'm Chris from Indiana. And he goes, I think this might be a false alarm. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, they retracted it. And they said it was a mistake. We were never supposed to. But for those 5 minutes, it was on. It was very, yeah. There was no, and there was a calmness because I have to say I didn't know what to do, and I knew I didn't know what to do. Ah, beautiful, Jade. We're the God pretending to be separate people.
Oh.
Speaking of art, um, when we talk about the movie screen and the movie, and the analogous to that is the in art is the canvas, and the canvas, just like the movie screen, one could say it's the space in which the canvas is the space in which the painting may occur, and the movie screen is the space or the context for the content, which is the movie. And even when the movie says the end, at the end of the movie, yet the movie screen is still there, waiting for the next movie or
Mm-hmm.
the next play or the next whatever. And one could say that the canvas, the movie screen, is it's pure open possibility for that which appears on it and is it. And it's just those are just good metaphors. So when you mentioned art, Michael, I thought of, the art canvas, and then of course the movie screen. Same metaphor.
Mm-hmm. I love how everything's a metaphor and a clue, to wake up from the dream. It's everywhere. But I love the movie theater analogy, all of it, every bit. The projector illuminating the pictures and pure open possibility. Pop.
Yeah, I love what Harvey just said.
Yeah.
Huh?
Simone, thank you, Simone.
Yeah.
And what you just said, Michael, too, I'm getting more and more of awareness that you keep thinking, everything's okay. And then it's not
Yeah.
okay. And just coming to accept that and think, when's the next wallop going to happen? Or I
Yeah.
wonder what's going to happen today. I've got no
Simone,
idea.
and then you realize you really honestly don't know. And that's such a beautiful reminder because I really was feeling like Jenny and I were talking about intuition. Things had calmed down in the last 24 hours. The winds had died down. So there was this feeling of, I think the worst is over. And then out of nowhere, your phone just blows up.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
suddenly your whole world in your brain is just like, oh my God, what do I do? Who do I call? That whole alert thing kicks in.
Yeah. And it's about control, isn't it? I think the worst is over, or things have calmed down, and thinking that it's going to stay that way.
Well, I have to say it's very natural.
In every instance, not just the experience you're having. Yeah.
It's very natural as a quote human being to want things to work out. There's nothing wrong with hoping that you're past the worst, It's very
Mm,
natural.
mm,
That's the innocence, Simone.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so innocent.
The going back to the movie screen and what you just said, the movie screen or the art canvas, it never comments that something is good or bad. Um, and whatever appears in it is just what appears.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not inherently good or bad. And so things come and go, and yet the movie screen, the metaphor, it's just allows it to be whatever shows up. It's just whatever appears. And in a way that also allows for anger and love and frustration and whatever, because whatever appears, it allows it to be, and it's so open that it never grasps or pushes away. It's just a space for things to be as they are.
Yeah, no resistance. And no identification with it, like with the finite sensations, where it's like there's no difference between pleasure and pain. They're equal sensations arising in the screen that you are as pure consciousness. It's not, and they're all of these temporary sensations, are harmless. They don't touch you.
Yeah, it doesn't claim it and it doesn't own it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there.
Yeah, the grasping is resisting, and then trying to hold on to one sensation and then you lose it, which reveals that it's temporary, and then you go looking for what's permanent, which has always been this, always been here, is what you are, which is so cool. So it's all a gift, all of these upheavals, even when shit happens to the body, is when you're forced to detach from the body because, it's temporary, it's unreliable. It appears to change, it appears to disintegrate.
I had a friend yesterday ask me, she said, so what do you do when you have emotions, when you reactions on the plane? And she goes, how do you judge it? And my response is, I think the difference between now and before the seeing, it's like an automatic, like it's okay to be frustrated. Like there's so much allowance of emotions to just be as they are when they happen in the moment. And there's just like, okay, there was anger. It's okay. Whereas there was uh, there was identification with a thought that would say you shouldn't feel this way. And then there would be grief, and that's where the suffering is. And I told her, I said, it's like free flowing. It's just so the day there can be aggravation that happens or anger that happens, but there's just this automatic okayness. I always say, I just seem to say that there's an okayness. There's there's not even that thought to entertain. I don't see that whenever these emotions. It's like I'm not an IA. I'm a human being. I feel even more alive, to experience all the range of emotions. It's like a musical. They're like musical notes, all different notes, and so there is no judgment. And that's where the suffering was there would be an emotion or a reaction, and then there would be a thought, and then there would be an identification with that, and then there's the suffering, the belief that I shouldn't be feeling this way. But it's just like I keep coming back to animals. That's what it feels like they growl, they bark, they wag their tail, and then they're done. And it's the same thing here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Indira, you just said what I was thinking. I was thinking it's more like I don't really anticipate frustration or overwhelm or anything like that like I used to. And then when it pops up, it's just like full on, like a little kid throwing a little tantrum, and then it's over. And like it never even happened.
Yeah, that anticipation is not there or not here. It's just not here. It's like what a relief. What a fucking relief that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that neutrality is the ultimate, pendulum neutralizer. It's like when there's no resistance to it, and or identification with it, it's just allowed to be as it is. It's not these extreme pendulum swings that are like, because that was when there was a misidentifying or whatever with the finite sensations which appeared to limit this.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, Indira. It's sort of like that guy, Mr. Shouldn't, isn't around anymore. I'm feeling a little depressed. That shouldn't be happening. What do I do to fix it?
And there was nothing ever to be fixed. That was just a story that was believed in. And then that's where the compassion and the love comes in, or compassion rather, softness and gentleness here.
Well, it's somehow seeing that the thought that it shouldn't be there is also it.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything. It's everything.
Yay.
If you mention
She
Mr.
was
Should,
doing
you
you,
have
Jenny, just in case you didn't.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
I
it.
recognized the inner
don't forget
the inner squeaker. I have a squeaker inside.
if you mention Mr. Shouldn't, don't forget Miss Should.
Yeah.
Right, good. Nice, Harvey.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they danced, they're a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it too, and not even.
You know, if you watch any of these nature films, which I do, I like to watch like, you know, out in the like African savannah or where there's giant animals, elephants, rhinos, lions, tigers, and they all like have to share a watering hole, which is filled with crocodiles and hippos. And it's amazing what can spark a fight out of nowhere between one or the other. Um, and I can see the innocence because I saw kind of a humorous one. There was a single hippo against an entire herd of elephants at a little watering hole, and the hippo was trying to chase the herd away. Like, this is my watering hole. You know, so he's marking it, he's defecating, he's urinating, he's charging the whole herd. There's like 15, and they're all shocked. Like, what's this? What's this all about? And the guy, the hippo was doing pretty good for a minute until the whole herd just fanned out and as one unit marched forward and the hippo got the message. And sometimes that's with us. It takes something extreme that you think you have power over to realize, mm-mm.
For me, it was like the futility of not being able to become what I idealized that I should be, no matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did. That was the grace of finally just accepting. It can be an ugly process of flailing around and fighting.
Well, it makes sense though, right? Because no energy wants to die. All energy is, if you will, programmed to live as long as it can, even a single cell. I heard something interesting. When the body dies, there's still cells in your body trying to regenerate it to kickstart it back alive.
Wow. Michael, I'm not familiar with your story. I've heard Ginny talk about um, something like falling without your parachute or something along those lines. But what happened for you, or appeared to happen for you, Michael?
Um, I seem to have been a seeker for as long as I can remember, since a child. I just couldn't quite figure out what was going on. Like, they look confident.
Yeah.
They all look like they know what they're doing.
Mm.
So maybe I'll just listen to them. They can, they're my parents, what choice do you have? So you sort of take on an identity. But Leela and I were talking about, those of us who are on the spectrum, so to say, And I'm learning that there's quite a few spiritual people that didn't quite fit in with this. They didn't quite know how to make it all work. So that was kind of their first clue, was the struggle to fit in. And so one strategy is to mimic others. You see how they act and then you do it back. And it's just a coping mechanism to get you through the day.
It's beautiful, Mike.
Yeah, that desire to fit in. And have you heard about the concept of mirror neurons as well?
What is it?
Mirror neurons in your mind. So I think that sort of helps the human do the mimicking. And I feel like I might have a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very,
more than the average bear, or I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, that feeling of wanting to fit in and thinking, what is going on?
Yeah.
How do they do it? Like that seemed like a total mystery to me.
Yes, that's it.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was something here that smelled a rat.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't put my finger on it. I said, something's off. I just don't know what it is, but it wouldn't let go of me. And it seems like for most people, they can maybe think about it or date for a moment, but then it's back to business as usual. For me, this wouldn't leave me alone.
Me
It's like,
too.
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
was obsessed.
yeah, yeah, it's like getting a permanent flu. It's like they call it a bug because it just bugs you. And so I began reading everything I could get my hands on. I know my father had Jalel Kilbron
Mm.
was a
Yep.
poet or a mystic. Does anyone know?
Mm-hmm. He's Eastern, isn't he? Yeah.
Ali Kabram, is that?
Yeah. Or Khalil Gibran. Anyway, that was the first spiritual book, and I loved it, but I didn't know why because I could barely read it. But something about it.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, beautiful.
And then I think I only met him one time, but this old man once took me for a walk. I guess he was my uncle. And I remember all he did was pull out a handful of pebbles, and we're standing on a bridge with water underneath the bridge. And he and I just began tossing pebbles, and we didn't speak. And I just had the best time with this man. I don't know his name. I don't know if I even ever saw him again. But I just remember being drawn to silence at an early age, like feeling safe there.
Beautiful.
And so I did most of the usual stuff. A lot of us have gone through an Eckhart Tolle. He was the first with Power of Now. I know a lot of people discovered him. And it was a real shocker when like the first page says, all there is the now. And the little booby trap that I fell in, I think most do, is I kept trying to get in the now and stay there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Which already is this that you can't escape?
Yeah, so it's like it found a new way to torture itself.
Yeah. Because the innocent imagination abstracts, it's like, and distracts.
That's the new game. Mm.
Yeah. So it actually made it worse because so not only do you think you're spiritual, but then if you ever raise your voice or get mean, then you have guilt and shame on top of that you lost your temper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're triply fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So then I found, I went through a Buddhism stage, read everything on Buddhism, read everything on Vedanta, everything on non-duality. And all of those became concepts. Even I began to notice non-duality became a concept. So that has to be seen through too as it's just there's no such thing as non-duality.
Yeah, what is anything without a thought? And that silence that's beyond concept, that's prior to word, that's total peace, that's the substratum from which everything's appearing, is too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah.
Everyone's already enlightened. It's already done. There is no enlightenment. This is too self-evident. And so then the thoughts arising, well, this can't be it, or yeah, but it's got to be a shift or an explosion, or I've got to know that this is it. It's just playful, you know. And then it's like Sailor Bob says, it's already cognized. It's just recognized, you know. And then you're like, oh snap, it's always been this. How funny. How did I overlook this? Oh, okay. Innocently identifying with those thoughts and distracting myself playfully with ideas and concepts and worries and should and shouldn't. Because it was just too easy, and it was like mischievously not wanting to look at myself. Just keep it going a little longer. I just want to identify as this character a little bit longer.
Yeah, the distracting drama of the dream. That's
Yeah,
to
it's
me. Yeah,
it's so cute,
yeah.
and it's like the ultimate humiliation.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of to be in the now? I read the Kaftiri many years ago, but still I wonder what is the meaning of to be in the now?
Yeah, you can't find it, Raj.
I don't know.
You can't find the now. Where is it? So if there's no now, where's past and future?
I mean, what does Kaftiri means when he wrote the power of now and to be in the now? What he's pointing to? He means to be in the present, to live in the present, not to worry about the past and forget the past and not to worry about the future. 100% in what you're doing.
Or being.
Yeah, being. Yeah.
There was so much attention on thoughts when I read the Eckhart Tolle. I remember reading it over and listening to it over and over again and thinking, how do I stop the thoughts? And then now it's not even about stopping thoughts. Even that was it, but there's more attention on beingness here. It's just quiet, neutral. It's not in the past or future. It just is. It's here. There's really no way to describe it. Whereas before there was no attention on this. When I look back at the memories of the character, there were, God, the things that she did to stay peaceful or to have peace, which doesn't make sense as I'm saying that right now, but it was all innocent, right? But when I look back, there were thousands of non-dual moments but the belief was that I had to try to get it. I had to do something to get it. Whereas now it's just here, 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 it's just here.
Yeah.
There's no trying to get or fix or meditate or any of that. And like Michael said, for me too, it was just something felt really off. Religion felt very artificial. Everything felt artificial.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just, I love Eckhart Tolle. I'm so grateful for it. Like when I listen to him now, it's like, ah.
Everyone is singing the same song. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love like reading my old books too that I had put away, Advaita books or whatever. It's all beautiful.
Yeah, there's more of a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I can actually finally read them now. I could not make heads or tails of like I am that. I must have started that book 25, 30 times. Could never understand a lick. And now I read it and I just go, uh-huh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah, you can see all of it now, what was being said, yeah. Because it's beyond concept. It's this palpable, felt sense. It's beyond words, appearing as words. And the looking for it appeared to hide it. I hid from myself by looking for myself.
How can you find everything?
Yay. How beautiful.
You know, we're so focused on the objects that we never really stop to ask what is looking.
mm,
I caught your recording last night, Michael, and you were sharing how you had the Zoom on 10 minutes before and you were just looking into your eyes. And yeah, I can, if I look into, not really a practice, but occasionally I let myself look in the mirror and
Yeah.
I do just look in my eyes and I immediately start crying.
Oh, beautiful.
Not quite sure why, but
Yes, it's gorgeous.
yeah, so it's just so special but ordinary.
Yeah. I love that special but ordinary. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, the
And
eye gazing is when you do it with yourself. It was an accident. It was 10 minutes before the Zoom, and I
yeah,
turned
yeah,
the
it just happened.
camera on, and I started staring at the eyeballs, and I could just see they were moving, and I wasn't doing them. So it was like awareness becoming aware of the awareness.
Yeah, yeah,
Beautiful.
amazing.
So you don't need even the Zoom camera. Next time you're in front of a
No,
mirror, instead of when you're done fixing your hair and your makeup, then
don't do that anymore.
but just take a moment and stare into your eyes like you've never seen them before.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
I think you said last night, look at what's looking.
Yes.
Yeah, and it really resonated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's perceiving this?
Mm.
Even if you dissect the dream at night, which is obvious that this is the same, it's who was in the dream? All you get is perceiving. There was just perceiving sensations, mental. This is all imagined.
I can see it in looking into a baby's eyes. I see a lot of babies. I had this one baby, I was just holding, looking into his eyes. You can see it. But I'm seeing myself. I'm seeing emptiness, looking at emptiness, and you can also see it in nature, and especially in this pit bull's eyes. When I look in his eyes, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or even a couch,
Mm-hmm.
objects, there, it's just emptiness looking at emptiness.
Yeah. And usually we don't notice that. So then as you start to become more aware of it, you'll start to look at other people, but instead of just sort of nodding and listening, you're actually looking in their eyes and seeing the same thing. And then there's that self-recognition. Ah, what's looking at me is what's looking at that.
Looking in the mirror is very different than it used to be. I see it's like looking at a wild animal now. When before it was heavy with,
Mm-hmm.
insecurities and whatever. Now it's just like, look at that crazy thing.
I love it. Yay.
Well, we're probably the only species that doesn't think of themselves as animals.
Mm.
They say that we share like 98% of DNA with chimps.
Dude, there's some chips I'd rather hang around with.
Same.
Or animals, yeah, any animal.
Animals,
Yeah.
yeah. Rather hang out with your dog.
I need my dose of Michael Markham.
I know, Michael. How's it going?
Yeah, you healing up, buddy? Give us a report.
Oh, I am slowly. Takes time when you're more time when you're older, I find. I'm I was listening to all the beautiful words and nothing makes sense to me anymore. Um any the brain receives billions of input data and it condenses that down to what it thinks is pertinent to the survival of the body and the individual. And I think language does that. It condenses perceptual input to an overlay in its attempt to understand, and then tries to transmit that understanding to another imaginary individual, and they filter it through their unique collage of swirling, self-referential data points. Nisargadatta, I just can't read him at all anymore. All of my favorite writers, nothing makes sense. And in that, I find this great, again, for lack of words, sublime emptiness. I mentioned at a meeting the other day, I was in the emergency room after a crash into the cement, and 40 people all suffering in pain, mostly older people my age, spouses helping spouses, young people crying, caring for the people next to them also. And this idea of suffering humanity. And this is just an emergency room in a fairly wealthy town, not suffering like the world is seeing, not like what's going on in most of the world, Ukraine, Russia, the fires that have devastated lives, Israel, Most of the world's on fire, suffering humanity. It's always been that way. I felt this great compassion. I was talking to the people next to me and listening to their stories and falling in love. I think it breaks down to love of ourselves. We start to love life and love others, but we're really can only love ourselves. That's the only world we are ever privy to is our own self. Inside is this swirling collage of memories, opinions, and beliefs, and the holographic figure of I am. Nothing can be understood about it. And even that is an overlay. To say that nothing can be understood about it is saying I understand that about it. I look at each of your faces, the beauty. I'm looking at Boshari. I don't know how to say your name.
Raj?
Raj?
Yay.
Butch Raj.
Which,
Raj. Raj is okay.
I'm looking at your beauty. The color of your skin is chocolate. My skin is like an orangey pink. Not that attractive. I look at your skin and I just think, God, he's so beautiful. I wonder about your childhood. I wonder about your adolescence. I wonder about your heartache and your joy. But I can never know that. I can't even know my own. There's this great peace, a sublime unknowingness. Um, Knowing that no one knows more about this than anyone else or ever will or ever has. Mr. Kadada seems so sure of himself. Most writers seem so sure that at least they understand that nothing can be understood. They, and understanding, there's no such thing as understanding. We don't know what electricity or water are. I listen to the sound of female voices and it thrills me. Magnetism between male and female is just incredible. Life is incredible, the pulsating sensuousness of life. I watch my wife, she has trouble walking, and she struggles across the room, and I watch her and I fall in love over and over. She's trying to help me so much since my fall, but she has trouble too.
Beautiful.
Takes a few moments to fall in love with someone, and then I want to know everything. I want to have them all. I've known Harvey for years. I'm looking at his face now. He's he's fantastic. Armor. I could go through each one of you. Some of you I don't know. Simone, I don't know you, but I want to. Um, Australian accent thrills me. I want to know your history. I want to know where you came from and what town you live in, and I want to have you all. Um, but I can't. We live in different worlds.
You are them.
I love you.
And you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, we are each other. We cannot, one man alone is no man. I think even that is an overlay, a guess, a stab in the dark. But I'm all right with that. Or Morris says sometimes it's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's an overlay too. It's all overlay.
It's so beautiful with infinite meaning. It cancels itself out to zero meaning. And it's whatever meaning you give it. It can be anything and it's playful, which is the meaning is transmutable.
I wonder, is there any meaning at all? Meaning beginnings, ends. I just don't know, but even that is the assumption of knowing that. It's not even a free fall anymore. I used to think it was a free fall that had turned into floating, but even that is an overlay. But I'm okay with overlays. It's the only thing we have. I love being human. I love being able to have a language to share each other's, or try to share each other's worlds. I'm not too far away from dying. I had it when I had my stroke. I was kind of convulsing on the floor, thinking, oh my God, I've had the most wonderful life. And I'll feel that again when I die. It has been wonderful, eventful. I've loved it, but I won't be back. I was never here.
Yeah.
I love you people. I love the sound of your voice.
I love you, Michael. You're beautiful.
I love you.
Um, hmm.
Thank you for sharing, Michael. I hope you
Yeah.
feel better.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Thank you all.
Such a love for this aliveness.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, there's such in loveness with each and every one of you. Somebody called this a unicorn meeting.
Heck yeah.
Any last comments or sharings before we close out?
Yeah, it's just so lovely to be able to commune together.
It
And perhaps
is.
we might feel like unicorns, maybe sometimes. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Everyone. Thank you, everyone. I love you guys.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming. We so love and appreciate you. Jenny, Simone, Leela, Raj, Brent, Harvey, Michael, Amor, Indira, Barbara, Jade, Anon. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Yay. Yay.